Christian. Welcome to C Logic Podcast. We're getting close to 30 episodes. It's been a while since we've had anyone on, but welcome.
Well, thank you. This is very exciting.
Even though,
Thanks for having me.
Of course, after a good 30, 40 minutes as DJ, exaggerated a little bit of technical difficulties, we're finally making it happen. HP is having some camera issues, but we made it. We're here. We're live, and it's been a while since we've chatted. I think we were just talking about it earlier. I think it was September when we met you at Chris's house. You guys came over and did some filming with Brian and Chris, and we were there to help out, and it was a pretty awesome time. Got to see some behind the scenes action. So it's been a couple months, but how you been? What have you been up to?
Good, man. I got to visit my family over Christmas break, and it was a great time just catching up for all the work that I lost last year. I'm sorry, I have an echo in my ears, just like throwing me off.
That's okay.
But no, it was a great time. The vacation was exactly what I needed, and I was very thankful for it.
Awesome. So tell a little bit of background about your family, like where they're at. Are they here in the States, or are they still out of the country? Like you were telling me when we first met, you're gonna give me your life story, or what's going on with them.
Yeah, my parents still live in the Dominican Republic. They've lived there for about 25 years at this point. And yeah, they're still there. I moved to the US when I was 19 to get into video production, and they stayed behind. My sister moved with me, and after a couple of years, she was missing her boyfriend, so she moved back.
That's crazy. So you've been here for how many years again?
Going on 7 or 8 at this point. Yeah.
7 or 8. So other than your sister, you've kind of been, I guess, what you would consider like alone, if you will. I mean, other than visiting family. Now you go visit them, obviously, rather than visiting you, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's pretty crazy. And you were how old when you moved? You said
19. I'm 26 now.
26. So with taking on that big step, I know you kind of went into some detail when we're kind of like opening up that one night. What did it take for you to make it happen? Now, obviously, you wanted to pursue, the world of video, cinema, and everything within it. But what made you want to take that next step to move to the States, well, by yourself or with your sister?
I saw it as the only opportunity I had to pursue my dreams, and I'm the kind of guy that if I want something, I'm going to give it my all. So it was literally all I had in myself. I'm sorry, I keep on hearing my voice like a second later. So it keeps
Is
on.
the phone sound on?
No. It's I don't know. But it's one of those things, man. No, so I saw that as the opportunity that I had. I didn't want to waste it, and I just gave it my all. I interned at a church I was working with for a while. Got good at that. Started my own business after a while, and got me to where I am today. Met Chris, met you guys, and I've had some pretty cool opportunities because of it.
So going back, what exactly was your dream when you were wanting to come over here or pursue?
To make movies.
What?
Yeah. To make movies.
To make movies. What would you say? You said you've been in the States now for 7 years, right? Well, if you had to create like a resume, what would you be throwing on there?
A resume. I've made stuff for Chick-fil-A. I've made.
Okay, you can stop right there. That's enough. I just wanted to know you were the big deal. That's fine.
Okay, cool.
No, go on.
Stuff for a lot of local businesses. There's one that I do a lot of work with right now. It's like a fancy Publix, which I don't know, Target supermarkets, but they have restaurants inside. It's a really cool place. So we do about 2 or 3 of those a month.
Now what? So we've had a few people on the show. Chris, obviously, we've had Corbin on. I know, Corbin kind of focuses a lot on like the short film aspect of film and whatnot. What would you say is your kind of focus? Like what if you could do anything, what would you do?
If I could do anything, it would definitely be movies. When it comes to what I actually do, it's a lot of commercials, videos for websites, branding, advertising, stuff like that. But I would love to make movies.
Now with with all this progress you've made and like building this resume, like DJ asked you about with Chick-fil-A and all these other commercials, I remember like a week or few after we met, you said you were flying out to Utah, if I'm not mistaken. You know, big scenarios you know you find yourself in. Do you think it's pushing you closer and closer to finally making that first big movie? Now I know you guys got some short films coming up here soon, which we'll get to, but do you think that you're getting closer and closer every project to that first movie?
I really do. I really do. So the work that I do right now, it teaches me a lot of the technicality behind the things, but when it comes to actually making and producing movies, that's a whole different ordeal, which is where I'm just always picking Chris's brain with that stuff. And I've learned a lot. But yeah, I see it as an escalation game. So when you're in Skyrim or whatever, if you're level 1, you're obviously not going to beat the dragon. But you got to go into a couple dungeons, fight some random monsters, and then eventually when you're level 10, you can handle a dragon. So I do a lot of commercials, a lot of that stuff, try to get better at certain things. And then I'm working on short films right now with Chris. And I'm writing a short film that I want to make within like a couple months or so. And then I just kind of see after that, okay, what's next? Maybe go for a 45-minute short film and then maybe try my first feature. Smaller scale stuff, but constantly just practicing new techniques. But yeah, I'd say I'm very close to it.
That's awesome. Because I remember back to when we were obviously getting to know each other and everything, you're a huge Star Wars guy, if I am remembering correctly. So, and I know you briefly talked about how like you started. I believe this was you I was talking to, but you were already starting to like kind of create part of your own like branch off like universes within the Star Wars realm. I'm not mistaken. I know like Brian just did that with his like audiobook or what have you, but I think you said you were doing that as well. Is that true? Am I remembering correctly?
Close to it. It's not in the Star Wars universe. I'm a huge sci-fi lover. I'm a huge Lord of the Rings fan, medieval fantasy, superhero stuff. So what I describe, and this is something I have been writing since I was like 14, but when it comes to explaining to people what I'm trying to create is, if you imagine these 3 franchises they all take place on the same planet, just different stories throughout different periods of time.
Right.
So yeah, like Lord of the Rings way in the past. Then you have Marvel in the present. Then you have Star Wars in the future. It's all the same history, just different portions of it. And it's kind of explaining, okay, well, what happened to the elves? Where did all these spaceships come from? What happened in between those 2 time periods? Oh, superhero stuff kind of revolutionized everything with technology. So it's not within the Star Wars universe, but it's just those flavors of it.
Interesting.
Yeah,
so
that's my magnum opus.
that, no, that's actually pretty fascinating. So it's supposed to be like a Christopher Nolan Dunkirk, to where you're seeing. I mean, granted that was all in the present time, but you're seeing 3 perspectives of like the pilot, the like as the airmen, the men at sea, and then those like on foot on land. Is it kind of the same thing? But in reality, it's 3 different times of life.
Yeah, that's a really good way to explain it. But I see those also being 3 different separate stories that just kind of intertwine if you pay attention to a couple things.
Interesting. Now, do you have any like names, or you want to keep all that on under your hat just for the future?
For the future, I do want to keep it on the DL, but
sure.
You know how big movies have like silly code names before they're announced?
Silly code names.
Like Project Red Sapphire or
Oh yeah,
whatever.
I have seen people been doing that.
Like
George Lucas called Skywalker Star Killer before Skywalker.
What if you had to give your movie like some kind of a code, what would you give it?
The sci-fi one would be Memory of a Future.
Ooh, deep.
Because maybe it involves time travel, maybe it doesn't. I don't know. But, yeah,
I love it.
Just how certain things can be altered, and if you know what's going to happen, what you do accordingly to change those things. So it's kind of remembering things that haven't exactly happened yet.
Interesting. Now, do you think this is going to be I'm trying to find the right way to put this. So obviously, the best way to progress, whether it's like weightlifting for like me and DJ, or like media for you and Chris, or YouTubing, just like whatever the case may be, you obviously have to step out that comfort zone and almost just kind of like wake up one day and say, I'm just gonna do it. Because you can say you're going to do it every other day. Like, I know I do that. We've always done that with different stuff in our lives. Like, everyone does. But it truly takes you to step out that comfort zone to make it happen. Do you think it's going to take that initiative one day? Or do you think it's going to maybe you want to wait for, like, the right connection like Chris? Like, you guys are doing big things down there with all, like, this, the content you're pumping out. Do you think it's kind of going to be a collection of both?
I'd say it's a collection of both, but also getting comfortable with my own skill set, because if I want to do something, I want to do it right. And I know where I am right now, I simply can't pull it off. So I want to take those baby steps, the building blocks that I'm talking about. So maybe do something instead of like a super serious superhero movie, do something a little parody. If it fails, it's like, okay, yeah, it was a joke, guys, whatever. Don't take it too seriously. But just cracking jokes, whatever. Small YouTube videos. The project I'm working on right now is called Falco Jackson. It's a parody of an 80s action hero. So it's like just the ultimate retired guy, doesn't want to do it anymore. The president gives him a phone call and he's like, I'm out of the game, whatever. He's like, I need you for one last time. Just that sort of thing. Just to practice some action, cinematography, stuff like that, storytelling.
Is that kind of a strategy for new filmmakers to kind of lean heavily on roads that have already been kind of laid out, and while you're walking on that road, such as kind of like your stereotypical, I'm too old for this kind of a storyline, but then along that way, you practice on adding in your own little flares here and there and see how that works? Is that kind of like staying on that already made path is kind of like a comfort zone where you can feel comfortable to try new things?
Yeah, as long as you're not ripping people off, I think it's perfectly fine. Because plagiarism is one thing, but adding your own spin to things, making it your own, why are we making an 80s movie in 2021? So just kind of playing with that concept. Maybe it's this guy that's like stuck in the past, whatever. He just doesn't want to let go of certain things that have happened to him, which prevents him from living in 2021, if that makes sense. But yeah, I think you want to take an original idea or an idea that's been made before and then make it your own, make it original, kind of like Lord of the Rings. That's the grandfather of all fantasy stuff, but we have Game of Thrones because of it, we have The Witcher, we have all these different things where you're still dealing with the elves and dwarves picking fights with each other all the time, but at the same time the author makes it fresh and exciting every single time.
That's actually a really good way of putting that. Maybe that's the exact reason why The Last Jedi was shite, because Ryan let's not get on that rabbit hole. The rest of the podcast will be hours of that. But no, I think that's a really good way of putting that. I think the interesting way to put it is, with Lord of the Rings, someone painted a picture on that canvas. They drew it out, they made it look pretty, and they painted it. Now, take Game of Thrones or The Witcher, like you said. Someone was given a canvas, but it's like black and white, and you have to color and paint it your own self. And it can look totally different. So, do you think you're waiting for that next canvas for you to be given, almost like a coloring book, like a flat, plain thing that you just are ready to like paint as your own? Or do you think you already have that with, Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, Marvel, all matched in with your, dream here?
With the big ones, I have the story in my head. I've been writing it out, trying to figure out if I should make it a set of movies, if I should try to turn it into a show, a web series, how I can realistically pull it off. That's kind of what keeps me grounded, is if I can just like find a budget or whatever, should there just be like 10-minute clips on YouTube? Can I pull that off? Or would I be able to land a deal with Netflix, whatever? So I just go back and forth. But right now I'm trying to build a name for myself, trying to make goofy stuff on YouTube, whatever, get myself out there. So step one for me is Falco Jackson, the 80s action hero. That's going to be like 10, 15 minutes. The one after that is going to be kind of a murder mystery / romance. That's still writing that one, but my goal is to have it in like 1-2 years.
Nice. Now, do you want to do a full length, or is that going to be like that 45-minute movie?
That'll be the 45 minutes.
Okay.
Then after that, I'll try to pump out some full length, which I already have some ideas for too.
Would you ever do a documentary or a docu-series?
Docu-series. I wouldn't be against it if the story's good, yeah.
Because I know Chris and I had this one envisionment of this kind of to where, I don't know how much he's told you about some of his other like little back burner movies. I'm sure you know all of it by now, especially since you guys are roommates now. But there's this thing that I would love to do where it could be 6 to 10 episodes. I would say 45 minutes to that hour, the comfortable docu-series length. And I want to go and like travel to a place. Now, I thought of it as like 2 weeks, but I feel like I'll never have the time in my life to do that. I never say never, but maybe like a long weekend. Like literally just engulf myself into this place for like 4 to 5 days. But I want to go to some of the most smallest, unique, standalone towns that have somehow existed since like, I don't want to say the dawn of the country, but maybe the dawn of like the tech age. Hi, Chris. Are you playing VR?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Sure is.
But he and I kind of dropped this idea of like throwing yourself into this small town society of, it could have 25 people or 250 people. And I think one of the best examples that I can give you right now off the top of my head is, I don't know if you've ever seen Last Chance U, or at least know about it, but it's this big hit Netflix docuseries. It's in its 5th season. The first 2 seasons take place in Scuba, Mississippi. Before the documentary series, the little town sign that says Scuba, Mississippi, or MS, it's a population like 117. I want to go to a town like that. Now, obviously, Netflix / the community college that was like at one point the #1 community college football team of the nation clearly brought more population and culture and economics to the town, sort of. But I want to go to somewhere like a size like that. I remember when we drove through South Dakota in 2018, there was a sign that said town population 27. They had a post office, a gas station, and like a general store. That's it. Wow. Now, it sounds weird far-fetched, but I would love to literally just go there and live with them for like 3 to 5 days. 2 weeks is, I feel like now that I say, is a little too long. Probably goes crazy.
Especially if there's only 27 people.
Right? And I want to like ask them just about life itself. How long have you been there? How long has your family been there? Would you ever move somewhere? Would you move down the street? Would you move halfway across the country? I want to know what's keeping them there. I want to know how they're surviving and thriving. Like, I see people, and I've worked in the city for a couple of years, and I see those people, they like leaving the city to them, it sounds asinine. Or you take, on the contrary, to people on the countryside that think it's, you know, ridiculous. But I want to go even deeper than that in these small towns. Dude, I would love to have your vision and your skill set. You and Chris, me and DJ will live there, and the four of us will just go make this docuseries. Sure. And like just pick some like off the wall towns. I already have like 3 that I want to, and one of them is Tucumcari, New Mexico. Mm-hmm. It's one of the most underrated Route 66 towns. And I know and have met a lot of the motel owners, and I want to know more into detail of their life and the people in the town that don't own the motels. Like, why are you living in the middle of the desert, 2.5 hours away from the nearest like big town, which is Albuquerque? Yeah. So, let's put it on the back burner. We'll have to talk more about it. Something that could like, and it could easily be done in like a 3 to 5 day weekend. Like, oh shoot, about a 3-day weekend, I'm just gonna take 2 extra days. Let's go travel there for like 5 days. Yeah. Talk with people like a couple months in advance, and get things squared away. I think it'd be fun. And it could just be like a YouTube series or whatever too. Maybe like a test run. Maybe it could be like a test episode in the next couple of months. Like just, I don't know. Maybe we can start somewhere like in the middle of Florida and Virginia. Throw a dart at somewhere in South Carolina and let's just go. I don't know. Maybe that might be a little more far-fetched, but it's definitely something me and Chris joked about, but I think through the years I've fallen in love with the idea. But I can go into more changes about that. Enough of that. So
I mean, your whole channel's about traveling, so yeah. Where's the next place on the map for you guys?
Japan.
yeah, we're so the next
At
big
some point when
place.
COVID ends.
Yeah, so the next big place is Japan. We want to go for like a week, and one of the second to last day we were in Europe in 2019. We were in Rome. We were in our hostel, like eating pizza, sipping Peronis, just like really trying to enjoy that last little bit of Italian culture, and met a couple people from all over the world. Some in Italy, some from Russia, which was amazing. Some guys from South America. And they all gotta leave, and we're kind of eating pizza, whatever. Still, like we're about to leave, and this like dude walks in. And essentially, he was like this American, like shipyard union worker that would work 28 days on, 28 days off, and like every other like 28 days he had off, he would travel domestically, internationally. But he fell in love with Japan and went there like 9 times. So he sold us on it. I mean, I know I've always wanted to go, and I want to, expand, the continents traveled to, and we just kind of researched it and fall in love with it. So I'd love to go, stay in Tokyo for a couple days, and then go like to Fuji and like Nagasaki, and like some of like the temples. So that's definitely. I mean, technically before COVID, we were thinking about going this past year, like August or something like that, like way before COVID came about. So I don't know. That's definitely the next one. I know our next like 3 locations we've kind of talked about is Japan, and then we talked about doing like a 2-week trip, but like a week in Australia, a week in New Zealand. And then I know my third one that I've joked about, but I've done like the math, and like cost effective is to where we could pull it off with still kind of really enjoying it, is going to like Dubai for a week, because the currency exchange is nuts. Like 1,000 of their currency is like 226 USD. So I was like, yeah, let's go do that. Plus, one of my good buddies from high school was there for a month and a half and said like, it was like, yeah, every other meal was like $3, but it was like, good stuff, not just like nubby McDonald's value menu. So, but we'll see. We'll definitely see. I'm going to Wyoming with my family in the end of May. Yellowstone National Park, Grand Teton, stuff like that. It's like my dad's like dream location, so we're making that happen for like a week or so. But I don't know. We're gonna start brainstorming.
Yeah, I want to be able to throw on the channel like World Traveler, you know what I mean, or Travelers.
Yeah.
But the way I see it is we've only really seen the Western civilization through a different lenses. You know what I mean? And that's not really world traveling. Like we've been to a handful of places in Europe, Canada. And it's all kind of the same thing, more or less. So like I feel like we have to go to
Asia or South America.
Yeah, somewhere in Asia, somewhere in South America, and somewhere in Africa. And if you're able to hit off like those big boxes, you're able to, officially call yourself a world traveler. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I know Egypt is very, very high on the list. Like that's definitely in my top 5. I feel like might do. I mean, I know you would love to go, but might have to take some of our family more convincing. I know my mom was like, "Excuse me, what?" Just because it's but that's just it though. It's not like going to Europe. Like, and your family's like, "All right, yeah, have fun in Rome." Well, now like, no, we're gonna go sail the Nile in Egypt. Like, we're gonna go to Cairo. We're gonna go to Giza. That's definitely high on the list because I've actually looked it up. There is this company you can travel with and sail the Nile for maybe $1,500, and you live on this boat for like 4 weeks, and you stop at all like the big, like the pyramids, obviously the Sphinx, a couple other like temples. They take you on like these like camel excursions. I think part of Transformers 2 or another random Michael Bay movie was filmed there, so they take you like to the film location. It's in like BFE, so that's definitely on the list. But obviously, it all goes back to what DJ said at the beginning, COVID. Can kind of tangle these.
You said you're from the Dominican Republic?
Yeah.
What is the film scene like there? Because obviously you said you came here to kind of pursue that dream. What was preventing you from being able to follow that where you were at?
It wasn't really a thing down there. So my dad had a digital camera, which I would just borrow every once in a while and make like short little minute things. I wouldn't even call them movies. But there wasn't really a whole lot of opportunity down there for that. And
so you came over here when you were 19, right?
Yeah.
Um, at 19-year-old, what are you thinking? What's your thought process coming to the United States? You came with your sibling, correct?
Yeah.
What was y'all's mindset? What were you thinking? What were you trying to achieve? Did you have sky high dreams at the time that were shot down because of reality, or what happened? What were you thinking?
It was scary. We moved up to the States because of a scholarship. It was for like some leadership academy at a church. My sister was really into it, and they were asking me to join as well for a while. And I told them I'm only going to join if I can join your video team at the church. So I was like, okay, yeah, fine, whatever. We worked it out. They flew us up, and I just saw it as my shot. I wasn't going to waste it. I gave it my all, asked a bunch of questions about cameras, lighting, audio, how to do this, how to set that, whatever. Because in the DR, there was Wi-Fi, but I didn't have any of the equipment. So I was watching all these tutorials. I knew technically I should be doing this. I didn't exactly understand why, and I didn't have access to it. So once I had access to it, I was like, all hell broke loose, and I was just practicing and learning and all sorts of stuff. But yeah, I just saw it as an opportunity, and I refused to waste it.
Awesome. I think you might have mentioned earlier, like in terms of refusing to waste it, and I think that's kinda, well, not even kinda. That is what people take advantage of. Is it's the same thing as I said earlier. Is if you have something in front of you and you know it's not too good to be true, but it's right there in front of you. Like step out your comfort zone, take it. Like that is the prime example of like feeling your gut, taking what you know is best for you, and just going with it. And that's I think like a lot of people in our generation or in today's world don't do, which I think just adds more to your story. One day when you're making your potential $1 million budget, films trilogy here. I mean, all this starts from taking that step of, hey, I want to make movies and I'm going to make videos at this church in the U.S. for a little bit, and then from there on, everything just grows. I think it just makes your story more like powerful and poetic, like as cliche as it is. But I don't know. I think like that's one of the reasons why I can just like see the drive in you. Whether it's flying to Salt Lake, right?
Yeah.
Salt Lake for commercial, or working with Chick-fil-A. I don't know. I think it's like you said, it's trying to level up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to 10 to fight that dragon, but to really just shoot that movie. That was a perfect example. I forgot to give this man credit for that earlier. That was solid.
Thank you. No, because I think like if at the end of your life you're gonna think of your accomplishments, sure, but also your regrets, what you wish you would have done differently, and we're all gonna regret something in the end. It's inevitable. But I want to minimize the amount of regrets that I'm gonna have. So if it means moving to another country to pursue my dream, I'm gonna. If it means accepting terrifying jobs, I'm gonna. And if I fail, I fail. I'll learn from it. But I don't want to live with regret at the end.
For sure. So when you said earlier, like putting stuff on YouTube, I think Chris, when I reached out to him or Brian, I think it was Chris, saying how Blisters, which I want to hear you plug a little bit. I want to hear more about that. I know it's dropping Friday. I think that'll be on YouTube. And I guess before you go into that, have you been putting more of your content? And is there any like maybe like commercials and stuff we could see that like, hey, I was a part of that, or hey, I filmed that? Even if it's like some random small business, I would love to see it. Like we're gonna put the links in the description and kind of check them out and everything. Share it. Do you have like your own YouTube channel?
I do. I have. It's more of a goofy one. It's called Positive Media, which is the same name of my website, of my business. But the YouTube one is more just goofy practice stuff. So I started right now with something called The Story So Far, which is kind of like a ghost story. It's an exaggerated version of my life. It kind of hit a roadblock. So during COVID, the housing market was going nuts. And the whole premise of it is like the guest bathroom is haunted by a ghost. And me and my previous roommate, Josh, are trying to figure out how to get rid of it, all this stuff. So the landlord actually ended up selling the house. So, which is why I'm with Chris. I'm just bouncing around until I have the thing figured out in March. But until then, I'm here. So I'm kind of figuring out how to add that to the story of, oh yeah, we're not at this haunted house anymore, but we still got to fight this ghost because I have like 20 episodes written. So it's just adding a couple episodes here and there to make things make sense, I guess. And then another cooking video where I try to make recipes. They're never really as good as I pretend they are at the end. I made eggnog for Christmas season, and like I didn't use a strainer or anything, so there's like all this hard-boiled egg chunks in the glass. I just like choking on it as I'm drinking it and trying to play it cool. So don't follow my advice when it comes to cooking. It's entertaining, but I definitely wouldn't try to follow my advice.
So what we need to do is, if you ever come up and visit for a weekend, which you're welcome anytime, we need to do a cook-off of like a recipe that neither of us have no idea what we're doing, and just see who can make it more poorly.
For sure, for sure. And Chris had an idea a while back of not following the recipe itself, but if it sounds like something, how would you make it depending on how you interpret it? And it's so like teriyaki salmon, I guess this is a really bad example. But without knowing how to make teriyaki sauce, without knowing how to make salmon, how would you make your interpretation of teriyaki sauce? And I think that would be pretty interesting.
That would be pretty interesting. It's almost like saying step. It's almost saying step one, you need flour. All right, goes outside, picks a flour and throws it in instead of actual like baking flour.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying. So pretty much just really being really imaginative but silly with it at the same time.
Speaking of food, I haven't been able to get this off my mind. So you said you worked on a Chick-fil-A commercial?
Yeah.
What exactly did you do?
I was a camera guy.
A camera guy?
Yeah, so it's like the story of a father and a son going through their day. Turns out he's like the manager of one of the stores or something.
Now, when you work on these commercials, what skills are you developing that will help you with your own personal endeavors?
With those in particular, it has a cinematic quality when it comes to lighting, camera movements, compared to, yes, if you're advertising a bottle of lotion, you'd light it a certain way. You'd probably have a light green background or something if it's like matches the brand or something. But so, well, those would usually be just locked on a tripod, do some cool effects, and you're solid. But with Chick-fil-A, you have a camera moving around, you have characters, and it's kind of like a very, very short movie. So you're directing them, telling them what to do, where to go, what to say, even if you don't hear them in the actual thing. But you want to see their mouths moving because it just makes it look more realistic. So I think camera placement, camera movement, lighting, that all plays into movies the same way it does in that video.
Interesting.
Now, I'm going to ask, you said you have something lined up in March. Is it going to be staying in Florida? Or are you thinking you're going to move somewhere in the country? Or what you got planned?
Florida.
Okay.
Florida. I have a pretty big client list down here, so I don't exactly want to leave it. But if I do have to move somewhere, it's going to be in North Carolina.
Nice.
Just love mountains, love hiking.
Nice.
Well, we have mountains and hiking here, so...
You know what? That's a good point. I'm going over there.
Trying to talk Chris into moving up here, too. Well, moving back up here. I don't know if you can hear me right now. I know your heavens, and darn. Well, put in his ear that we both want him back up here. I know some other people have been getting in his ear as well, so... But I know it's a little ways down the road, so... Now, were you a part at all of Brian's, was it the Zolan Dart audiobook, the Star Wars audiobook he did?
I was very minor roles, so I really shouldn't give myself as much credit as he would give me. But no, he just hit me up one day and was like, hey, you want to speak French in this thing as an alien? I'm like, all right, yeah, cool, that sounds fine. And then after that, we did something called Walla Walla, which I knew nothing about, but it's pretty much all these background voices and movies. So when you're walking down a little alley or whatever, you're not just hearing the main conversation, you're hearing all these little, hey, you want to buy some drugs, whatever, in the background to add some life to the world.
That's awesome.
So we did that and me and Jared and Victor, a couple other guys, his friends, we all just sat around for a couple hours and made a bunch of random voices pretending to be thugs, pirates, farmers, animals at one point. It was a lot of fun.
That's pretty interesting. I still need to listen to the first episode. I heard there's another one in the works already, too.
Yeah, it got a lot of traction, actually. So they're writing the second one.
That's awesome. Yeah, the Nerdist, actually. Nerdist.com even showed it, too. Or, like, put an article up. That's really cool. That's awesome. So, I guess plugging that way into Star Wars kind of things, I know Brian has dreams and aspirations when I was kind of... Because that was actually the first time that I kind of met him, too, when I met you. I knew a lot about him from Tethered and Chris through the years, but when I was talking with him, obviously his like end goal and biggest dream and aspiration is to be in something related to Star Wars. Like if maybe like the Mandalorian, but the Star Wars and Lucasfilm announced they have like 10 plus movies and shows coming out, like him featuring in that. What would you like to see yourself maybe on set behind the camera, or maybe even just being a makeup dude, like something even of that nature, like in that. Like low, you would just love to be a part of it. Would that be a dream and aspiration?
If I have to grab coffee for Dave Filoni, I would gladly do that. Just running around. Hey, you need anything? No. Okay, you're good. All right. How about you, John Favreau? How are you doing? I would take the most insignificant job just to be in the same room with those guys.
That's awesome. Speaking of which, did you enjoy The Mandalorian?
Oh, I loved it.
Because I know you and I kind of like shared like quick little, hey, you seen the episode yet? And kind of like little snap messages here and there. So what was your second season or first season?
I like the originality of the first one. I loved seeing a lot of characters and fan service and answers in the second season.
And then the finale episode, you liked it?
Loved it.
Good.
Do you agree with the online hate about how The Mandalorian is too repetitive? It's the same thing over and over again.
They were saying how the second season was too repetitive. Oh, new planet, new characters, yay! The end. Next episode, they were saying how like the body of that season was that. Do you agree, or do you understand?
Yeah, because I think the first season was kind of like that too.
Yeah.
A lot of it felt like a side quest. But it's not the overarching galactic war. It's just this random dude that's trying to figure life out and going where his steps take him. Oh, I have to do this, fight this random rhinoceros on a planet to save a little baby and fix my spaceship. All right, cool. That's what we're doing.
Exactly.
Yeah, it makes sense because, he's literally a bounty hunter. So like their job is literally side gigs constantly. So it makes sense from a character point of view, and it's a really good way just to show you so much more of the Star Wars universe.
Which most people love. Like, I know I do, being as big of a nerd as I am. Like, I love that kind of stuff, especially with Filoni and Favreau at the helm. I mean, they know how to do it. Like, they literally made a docu-series how they made Mandalorian. They're that good at what they do. So that's why it doesn't make any sense to me that people complain. Like, I get it. Yes, they're going new planet, new people, but get over yourself. And like DJ said, you were kind of saying it too, like they get to the point, whether it's like a 25 or 45-minute video, they even get to the point. It's not like it doesn't need to be this huge like Breaking Bad where it's like 5 seasons of 13 episodes of an hour and a half of explaining such dire detail of it. It gets to the point, it's fun, it's entertaining, it's quirky, it's flashy. The end.
Yeah. Because the first two, I do remember of the second season, the first 2 episodes are like, okay, more just random side quests. But after that, they started answering questions. They started heading towards future things. They started adding characters. And I'm like, okay, cool. Things are going somewhere, and I like it.
Yeah.
And also, if you think of it, he's a space cowboy. Westerns, it always starts with this guy walking up to a random village. There are bad dudes there. He fights them off, saves the day, then walks off to the next place. That's literally a Western movie, and that's kind of what Mandalorian is.
And it's funny you say that because they literally explained that in Gallery Season 1. on Disney Plus, the docuseries I was talking about, that's literally like one of the 3 genres that Jon Favreau wanted. I mean, like you both said, he's a bounty hunter. He's a space cowboy. Like that's the whole premise of it. Is you're always gonna see him venturing, meeting people, coming across bad guys, yada yada yada. So now, only bad thing is we have to wait till 2022 for the next season. But we're getting plenty of other. I know it. The Boba Fett is the Boba Fett series, Book of Boba Fett is what, November this year, I think.
I think December.
December. And now is there?
Does the Ahsoka one have the release date yet?
Not that I know of.
I think the next one was supposed to be Kenobi, but that one got pushed back too, I believe.
Kenobi. Have you seen the poster for Ahsoka and it has the world between worlds in the background?
I have not.
It has what?
The world between worlds. It's in Star Wars Rebels.
I have.
Yeah.
I have seen all but the last like 5 episodes, but it's already been spoiled by like a couple channel breakdowns, so I already know what happens, unfortunately. So.
Well, I'm not going to spoil a whole lot, but pretty much it's this random dimension where time doesn't really exist. You can enter episode 4, walk through a little portal, you're on Tatooine with Obi-Wan and Luke, whatever. You go through the portal again, then you're in episode 2 in the Clone Wars. So it's like this dimension with a bunch of little portals that travel through time.
You mean like the Star Wars Lego Christmas special?
Yeah, exactly like that.
Oh my god.
Nice.
Good way of putting it.
So that dimension is in Ahsoka's poster.
Oh.
So we're probably going to get some exploration like that.
Time travel.
Time travel.
I still think I'm most excited for Kenobi, but the Book of Boba Fett is going to be pretty phenomenal.
I'm so excited.
The ending credit scene of season 2 was everything I wanted it to be. Even though it was like 25 seconds, so it was great. But I think Kenobi is what I'm highly anticipating. I think it's only supposed to be 1 season, 4 episodes, like an hour and 20 each, and then with the Hayden Christensen announcement, that's going to be pretty fascinating.
I bet Kenobi dies.
Nah, no way.
Oh my god.
Kidding.
I know
You
you
think
will.
we'll get a live action Maul Obi-Wan face off?
That'd be amazing.
Hopefully it's better than in Rebels. Hope that doesn't spoil anything. At least more entertaining than the one in Rebels. But
Well, the thing about Rebels is, if you pay attention to their stances, Obi-Wan kind of taunts Darth Maul with the pose of Qui-Gon, who was his master that Maul killed.
Yeah.
So then Maul recognizes that, takes the stance, tries to do the move that killed Qui-Gon,
Yep.
but Obi-Wan was like, nah, fam, slices down. So it's all just like counteracting each other's moves before you even fight.
exactly. No, I actually, now that you said it, I do remember that. Especially even the way Maul took the saber was identical to how Qui-Gon took this Maul saber in episode 1. Not to say that. Really good.
And I appreciate those small little details.
It's very true. Only those that have seen the movies hundreds of times. Which I'm making my girlfriend haven't been. She's seen about like 3 of them, maybe. But we're on episode 8 now, so the worst one. We've gone 1 through 7, so we're on episode 8 now. It's been fun.
It's my,
Nice. And how long have you been officially dating?
A month today.
We've put him on the hot seat.
Congrats.
I know. I had to look at the date in the bottom right corner. I was like, and it's coming up close. But thanks, dude. Thanks. It's been good, even though she's not a Star Wars fan, but she's slowly being converted. I think there are binge and then my overload of revamping my Star Wars collection. I haven't really put it out there. The only people that know is obviously her, DJ, and my siblings. But I obviously have like a pretty decent Star Wars collection. I may have told you, but the last like month I've just gone on this binge again. I sold off a bunch of my comics and stuff, so I got money, for that. I sold some other stuff, got some money for that. But especially like the original Kenner stuff from like late 70s, early 80s. Yeah, so you have to come up and check it all out. It's slowly growing, but I hope to keep it going, but probably take my foot off the gas a little bit. But yeah, so we'll see how much more I can get until I need to like just really take a break. But it's fun. I think one of the big things I will at least brag about, which I know DJ really likes hearing about, which is true. I love sharing it, but it's a really weird realm to be in terms of collecting, because it's definitely far from dying. If anything, you can't go to Walmart right now, and you can tell anyone right now and guarantee a certain product is going to be in Walmart. Always can. Walmart has everything. But the number one thing that I can tell you they do sell, but they never have, there's like a 2% chance, is the Star Wars figures. Every single time. Now, I remember growing up as a kid, they'd have a whole wall, a whole aisle decked out to it, especially when the movies would drop. Especially when episode 2 came out in 2002. I'll never forget walking in Kmart. There's a whole wall, probably from my front door to this wall, just full of stuff. But right now they usually have like a couple little sections, and there's like nothing. In the last like 4 months, I've been once and they had 3, and 2 of the boxes were like kind of damaged. So people just buy them on bulk and then resell them on eBay. I mean, they're hard to get. So my biggest thing, and where I'm getting to this is I will never pay the exact price. I'll always even pay lower than what it is at the store. Only one figure have I actually paid more than even what it sold in the store, because it was a Walmart exclusive in Canada. So it's a Mandalorian figure. It's from season 1 at the finale episode. You know the incinerator trooper? The white with like the red lines? I'll have to send you a picture of it. They only sold in Canada for a hot minute.
And they put a big Canadian flag on his back.
No, I guess it kind of looks like it, but if you took it out, but I'm not going to. That's another thing. I keep them on as close to pristine condition as I have. But yeah, that one was the only one that I paid like $25 for. But normally in the store they're like 18 to 20. So that one was worth it because it's exclusive. Like it's shipped from Toronto and everything. So I'll never pay full price. And the Kenner figures is actually the most interesting because obviously there's a couple different ones that are worth a lot of money. So for instance, obviously I'll never get my hands on it. If I do, I'll be very, very blown away. But the original Boba Fett shot a projectile missile. You may already know this story. Yeah. But it shot a projectile missile and it got lodged in this kid's throat back in '79, and they like cut off the manufacturing. So there's only like X amount that have survived since then. I'm sure tons have been thrown away and destroyed and what have you, but they're worth $150,000. But I think that's in the box. Without the box, they're worth not much less than that because they're so hard to find. And then there's 2 others that are worth $25,000 to $50,000. One of them is the Jawa with the like vinyl cape, because they were supposed to be a cloth cape, but they accidentally made a line of the vinyl cape. And the third is Snaggletooth. He's not really a big character. He's from the background of the cantina in episode 4. But they're only supposed to be like little short guys, a blue and a red. But the blue, the Snaggletooth, is a full-size character like all the others, but it's supposed to be like a miniature, like a Jawa. And they same thing, stopped manufacturing. And I was showing my girlfriend, I found this guy's collection he was like selling off that I got a bunch from. His is the only one, hundreds of dollars. I wanted to follow and see how much it sold for on eBay. And not to mention, it was like damaged. You know, obviously it wasn't in the box, it was damaged, didn't have like his gun or whatever, and it sold for hundreds of dollars. But if you can get it in the box, thousands. So clearly I don't have anything quite crazy like that. But I'd say I'm probably getting close to about 3/4 of all the Kenner figures. And I'll never pay the going rate. So for instance, this one guy was selling like his whole collection. I watched every single figure. He had a bunch of duplicates, but obviously I only bought the ones I didn't have, or some of the ones I didn't have, and ones that didn't exceed the going value. So what I do is I'll obviously compare and contrast to other items being sold on eBay, Star Wars, Kenner forums, and then there's actually this site. It was made in 2016, so all the prices are definitely adjusted up. But it kind of gives you the rough average value of like the figure in a decent condition, and then them like in the box still. So I'll never pay full price. So for instance, one of the ones I got, this one that's like more common, is like they're from 1982. This is 1980 line. They have like the Princess Leia Hoth get up. I got it for $12 off eBay. Great condition. Comes with a gun. Obviously not in the box, but they go for about $35. So clearly I saved $23 there. So I will never pay. I mean, yeah, my parents, even DJ's like, you ever resell it? Probably not. Maybe one day. But my whole point is I want to be able to say like I obviously paid way less than what it's worth, or if I wanted to like flip, because I think eventually when I finish my collection, I will start to like just buy more in bulk and just flipping them. Because I will say that's another thing that's been kind of a blessing in disguise is COVID. Some people are sadly selling off their collections. Like I'm actually been emailing this guy back from eBay. That's actually from Chesterfield an hour down the road, and he said he's selling all his collection to pay his kids through school. I mean, he has like thousands of figures. Like he sent me this email of like pictures. I'm like, dude, I only asked if you had one thing, not your whole collection. But it was cool though. Like
it's a pretty good use of a collection. Though.
Yeah. I mean, he said he's already made thousands of dollars. I'm like, dude, if you can put your kids through community college with that, by all means, man. I mean, I wouldn't do. No, I'm kidding. If I had to, I would. But yeah, it's definitely a weird realm on how with COVID and how everything's working with it. But it's fun, so you have to come up and check it out.
Yeah, for sure.
I'll definitely.
Definitely have to. Yeah, speaking of coming up, maybe I don't know if it's easier if you have a downtime the next couple of months. Definitely have to figure out a time. I don't want to make it back down there and visit you and Chris at some point too.
Yeah, that'd be fun. We'll work on another short film. Huh?
Oh no, go ahead. You say working on the short film?
No, I just say we'll probably be working on another short film by then.
For sure.
Speaking of which, good time to plug Blisters. Comes out Friday.
Check it out. It was an amazing experience. Had a lot of fun. Always wanted to make a Western, so before I even saw the script, I was just told, hey, Chris wants you to shoot a Western, and I was like, yes, I'm in. But no, it's amazing. Looks great. I've seen it a bunch of times, and I can't wait for everybody else to see it too.
Where can you see it at?
It'll be on YouTube and Vimeo, I believe.
YouTube and Vimeo. Free for the public, or is it going to be like a little...
Gratis. Free.
Awesome. Now, whose channel is going to be on Chris's or Brian's?
I'm sorry, what?
Whose channel is it going to be posted on YouTube?
I'll get back to you on that. Probably Chris's.
Okay,
awesome. No, yeah, whenever that does drop, I'll be looking out for it. I'm sure I'll see a post from him or Brian or you or something. But yeah, definitely let me know beforehand if you can. But whenever it does drop, we'll have to put in a link in the description.
For sure.
Because I'm excited to see it. So that's awesome. I'm excited to see what else you guys continue to make. Hopefully get to feature in some stuff. Y'all got to come up here, make some stuff.
Definitely.
Plenty of neat stuff that we could shoot a vlog, or maybe wonder if you're like comical but serious videos. Like there's an abandoned like medieval theme park nearby here in like the woods.
Here?
Yeah, Lexi, what was it again?
I'm trying to think. I've been there a few times. It's on.
Oh, a few times. Got a professional.
I have. It's fun. It's on.
But it's like on a back road, right? Kind of like
It's a Renaissance. It's an abandoned Renaissance fair.
an abandoned Renaissance fair, amusement park looking thing.
That's
It's
spooky.
mad creepy. I mean, if you could look at pictures right now, I think just look up abandoned Renaissance fair, Fredericksburg, Virginia, and it'll pop up. I know that's how I've searched it. Check it out. Mad creepy. But that'd be, I mean, granted, we're just advertising yourself for going there, but because you're not really supposed to. But maybe we could go, maybe not in the next life. I would never do that. So, but at least check out the pictures. It's pretty interesting. So, yeah.
Sounds like a lot of fun.
For sure. But, well, Christian, it's been an awesome episode. Glad to have you on. I hope we can have some more little collabs here soon, whether it's a podcast or maybe we come down there, you come up. Anything for us?
Just want to say thanks for having me. It was a great time, and I feel honored.
Of course. Anytime you wanna hit a pod, we're always welcome. I mean, we're trying to actually get back on the grind. I mean, the last couple months has been crazy. Like I got the job up here, moved up here. We had the holidays, so everything's been boom, 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 boom. But DJ recently got a brand new computer.
Nice.
So he's actually, our video drops tomorrow, his first edit. It came out very, very good. DJ's love for his subscriptions and then our channel last couple of years blew me away. So that'll be live tomorrow. But we will have this podcast up next week, and then you will see more of a glimpse of my Star Wars collection as I have a little bit like a vlog coming up. But we're gonna start being more consistent again because we were doing like a video or two a week for about a year, and then right before the move it kind of
de-escalated a little bit, but it got busy. But it's okay. We're coming back up. I mean, shoot, we just last year we got like 100 plus subscribers, which isn't a lot, but for us, I mean a ton. So now
That's a big deal.
Come to have another year, make it double. So and have more collabs with the one and only PYLES Media.
For sure.
Maybe you can get us in a Chick-fil-A commercial or something.
Yeah, I'll do what I can.
Sweet. All right, dude. We will definitely be in contact about this whole Blisters thing. I want to see it. We'll put the link in the description. And I hope you have on the podcast or the channel again sometime soon.
Sounds good. Thank you for having me.
PJ, take us away.
Bye.